Hello everyone, this is UC from iTradePrice. Just wanted to check in and go through some of the charts that we follow and trade actively. So let's get started with QQQ. Let me go to the monthly view here. So it's always kind of, I know the month is not over, but we just want to keep an eye on it like that and just see how the monthly bar is shaping up. So looks nice, right? I mean, you can see the monthly bar went from red to green this week, right? It started the month here, went all the way down, touched the monthly support around 318, the previous month support, and exactly bounced from that area, and then now making a move from red to green, right? So it does seem bullish. Mostly that is bullish. And from monthly perspective, of course, nobody knows what it can do in the future, but like, you know, the monthly resistance is something around here. So it has some room. 357 will be the first number that we can keep an eye on next week to see if it kind of pushes towards that, and then monitor for continuation. Okay. If I go to the weekly view, very bullish week, past week, almost bullish engulfing, right? Because it's kind of started towards the low end and even kind of just moved above the previous week's high as well. And just even actually all this bars right here, right? It just kind of moved and closed above this particular resistance level, right? So the next one to watch is 357. We got these two touch points here where the market have some, significance level that it wants to kind of move towards. So we'll see how futures move overnight. Even if we can open at 357, who knows? But if we go past above that, then 370 is the one where we have a couple of touch points right here, and then some lows right here. So it has some significance level as well. In the daily, you can see once we moved out of the downtrend line, right? This was the downtrend line in the higher time frame. And once we moved out of that, it just kept going up. And the move was pretty solid, aggressive, right? There's very minimal overlap between the bars, right? And it's just solid trend bars. It's not like where you have top wick or anything like that. Even if it would open low, there would be very minimal down wick, and just, mostly the stocks kept moving up, right? And now we're hitting this resistance level right here. We closed nicely. The one above is again 357. Not much resistance till 357, maybe one or two, mini sort of key levels, but the ones to watch is 357. And once we can do lower time frame, we can kind of monitor that. But maybe we get a little bit of pullback, but I think it can be good. But there is one view, which is, I don't really follow that much, but again, a lot of people do, which is this Fibonacci, right? If you kind of look at this view and consider this view from the top of its, range, 408 all the way down, and then you retrace it, it's exactly at its 38.2 mark, right? So it's right there. And if we'll see what happens, but if it goes above that, then 61.8 becomes the next one, or actually 50%, right? So we'll see how it happens, but I don't really pay attention to those that much. But if you do, another sort of data point to consider. Okay. All right, let's look at Apple. Nice bounce continuation, right, from its recent support, weekly chart. Nice bullish engulfing. This is a bullish pattern by itself from the uptrend line, so that's even better. Now we'll just see if it did, I think, manage to close above this downtrend line, right? If I go into daily time frame, slightly above, not comfortably above that, but nonetheless still a good move, right? Very nice. And now let's see if we have maybe some resistance, come down a little bit, and then if we go back up towards 168.9. Let me see what other levels are there in between. So I think the bigger level is 165, and then above that 167 to 168.9 is where we saw the downtrend that recently Apple was in, right? That was the high point. So that becomes sort of your level to target if it can get above 165, 166, because then, you know, there's not much resistance here in this area. Okay, Amazon. What a move. Let's get into monthly. I just want to take a look. So it, at a monthly level, it dropped below this level, gave us all these bottom wicks, so that means there is good buying pressure, right? And now since this monthly bar went from red to green, and now the monthly level is to watch above is 3280. If we can get above that, it would be definitely nice and bullish, and then we can target 3428 at a monthly higher level, right? If I go into weekly time frame, again similar shape, but you can see every time the stock has traded in this area, we've got a nice bullish reaction to that, right? So now we just have to see if we can get a continuation, a follow through above that. One thing that I can see is that it will be back testing this trend line again, just like how it did over here. So if we don't see a rejection here, or just, you know, a small bearish bar with you know, not a trend body, then definitely a push above 3280 can be in the books. If I go into a lower time frame, let's say an hourly, let me bring some other levels. Let me open up this extended hours as well. So yeah, I mean, this is how it did in the lower time frame. Nice bullish price action. We can definitely adjust this trend line to make it kind of more steep a little bit, right, to follow the price action better. But I think it's bullish right now, right? The pullback area that bulls would like to hold is 3177, because that's where we saw some intraday support and resistance. So, you know, the initial level that I would like to see it hold is 3177 if we get a pullback like that. But the structure remains bullish as long as we are above 3120. Okay, so that's that. Tesla, everyone's favorite. Let's look at a monthly time frame just quickly. Nice bullish price action in a monthly level. You know, all these bottom wicks show you that the price, whenever it drops in this area, buyers step in. Now we just have to see how this monthly bar will close, and then definitely evaluate it from the higher time frame perspective. On a weekly time frame, nice bullish engulfing bar, right? Good close. The area to watch again has been 947, 953. If you guys remember where we were a few weeks ago, we were trading in this zone, and that was one of the levels we always were thinking that, hey, it needs to cross above that to start feeling bullish. So that would be the big test. If we can pass through that, again, you know, we'll just monitor for continuation. 987 becomes sort of the weekly level to consider. Okay, let's look at daily, and let me bring the other chart. This one, you know, just, I know it looks a little busy, but let's go to 15-minute. What a nice channel, right? It's been just trading towards the channel. Every time it kisses the channel, you just can buy blindly, to be honest with you. It's just been such a nice channel here, right? And it makes these bull flags in the pre-markets, right? It makes this pre-market, and as soon as the market opens, like this, like this, like this right here, it just makes a move up. Let's see what happens on Monday. If it can just make a similar sort of sideways bull flag and let the trend line catch up to the price, something like this, I think it can be a good buy, at least at the open, right? To see a push higher towards 908 initially if it opened below that, and then onwards towards 926, and then what was that, 937 or 47, right? That was the number, the ultimate target if it stays above 908, right? The structure remains bullish as long as, I would say, it's above 877, 867, right? That's where we kind of broke out from. So it can, even if it comes down like this, can go back up. As long as it's this 867 is held, you know, intraday pullbacks are okay towards the trend line channel, and then see what happens next. But 908 would be the initial resistance on Monday. It had closed pretty high towards that. We'll see how it opens. Nvidia, monster move on Friday, actually all throughout the week, just like rest of the stocks. Clearly, once it broke the downtrend line, we saw a little bit of push up, and then on Friday, boom, up towards this, all this resistance zone, right? We have multiple touch points here where the stock has gotten rejected from previously. So this is the 1, 2, 3, almost like 5th or 6th try here. So if we see a little bit of pull down, pushback, but if it holds, then definitely with the market momentum, it can kind of zip through above this 267, 266.4 level. And then there's not much resistance till 286, right? So we'll see how it happens. But if it moves back down, somehow tries to backtest this trend line, downtrend line that it broke above, and then go back up, we'll of course monitor it for that kind of move if it happens. But for right now, 266.4 is the number to watch on the upside. If I get into the other chart, here's a trend line. Let me get into like maybe an hourly chart, right? It's nice bullish price action. One of the setups that I love is where the price kind of goes sideways and that let the trend line catch up to it, and then you start buying right here. Look for a pushback to the upside. Just kind of making sure that it remains in the trend line zone. If it breaks that, definitely it adds downside pressure, but you can time it accordingly. Square, what a nice move since this green box zone, right? This was below 90 and towards the 84 level. We exactly hit that level. 83.7 was the low, and since then we have not seen backwards, right? So this could have been 1, 2 like this, made a higher low, right? I'd like to trade this a lot. I just missed this last week, was focused too much on futures, QQQ and other names, just did not pay attention to this one. But A, B, C pattern, and as soon as it gets above B, you kind of buy. But that's more from swing trade perspective, but you get the idea, right? In the daily time frame, nice move. Let me bring the other levels. So yeah, again, bullish move. It just looks like an urgency towards this move, right? Because again, minimum overlap between the bullish bars. No bottom wicks, no top wick, closes towards the top end. Maybe a little pullback. Maybe we kind of see some sort of a lower time frame bull flag action like this, sideways, a couple of days, and then a move past through 143, 145 towards 152, 158, all that region. That's where the resistance is now. Okay, but ideally we see some sort of a bullish flag-ish pattern, right? Because right now the stretch, I would like to kind of just catch it on the pullback, right? Let the stock digest this move. So let's take a look at one more. Let's do Netflix maybe. Haven't been trading this. I really don't like trading this personally. It's just always have stopped me out for some reason. It's just lacks that character, right? I don't know what it is, but I just haven't found a good history with this name. But if you do, it does look nice in a way that it has gotten out of this down channel, right? And now it is sort of making this up channel, right? Something like that. So that can be a trade to look for, a little pull down towards 375, 376, and just kind of, it's the intraday support that it has gotten, which was right here somewhere, and then we'll see if it makes another move up or if it breaks down. But if it goes below 373, that's sort of the structure where it kind of loses its bullish momentum. Then we can look towards where the stock can backtest its broken trend line, right? That can be a move too. That can be a setup as well to look for. Let's look at SPX. Let's go to daily maybe. Yeah, so we have gotten out of this down trend line, right? Just like all the other names. Great push towards the top side. 44.90 remains the sort of the structural target here. You just don't have that many points here, but it used to be a good support right here, as you can see. So then it acted as resistance once it bounced from here. And now we're getting towards there, considering it's stretched, maybe a little bit of pause before we decide if it wants to go up or not. But that could be a good target, and at least I'd say a first touch short or something like that you can target for this name. But overall, bullish market, good move. Again, going back to QQQ, let's get into a less messy chart. I just think it has still room to the upside a little bit, right? I think we get some initial rally in the Monday, and then maybe a cool down to close below 357, right? So we'll see what happens, but that's how I would think that it would happen, but of course market doesn't work the way we think. It does its own thing, but right now it looks bullish, right? So as long as it remains bullish, we'll just play towards that, but ideally we like to see and catch it on the pullback, right? So if I draw a trend line, I think the QQQ, the pullback is somewhere, you know, around 348, 347 mark. If we see that, could be a nice push up. But futures NQ, I like to trade that name a lot, but offers great liquidity, good leverage, all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, pretty clear that it wants to go and touch this 14,670 level right here, right? We have some history here in terms of the price structure, right? It was support, then became resistance. We have gotten above this clutter zone right here. We can give a nice close towards the top side. So now we can definitely move towards 670 before we see a little bit of pullback like that, right? If I get into a lower time frame, you can see it's a nice, good looking channel, right? So we'll see how Sunday opens, but that's, as long as it's in the up channel, the price structurally is in bullish zone, right? So once it breaks down, if it does below 13,880, I think that's when the structure again goes back to bearish price pattern to look for. Right now, I would definitely look for pullbacks to play on the upside as long as it's in the up channel. Okay, hope you guys like this little video. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Okay, thank you.